Hey everyone, my name's Brendan, I hope your day's been going good, and it's October 31st. Yeah, you know, the day of tricks and treats, spooks and stickies, hoodwinks and harmony, japes and jams.
Japer jam!
Smuckers, now get the hell off my lawn. Now, normally I'd be getting ready to celebrate the holiday, with trick-or-treating just being a few hours away, but after I accidentally sold the deed to my yard last year, I haven't exactly had control over what happens on my lawn. The AM group of trick-or-treaters were already terrorized by them enough, so I was almost considering calling it quits for this year. But I mean, I can't just ignore it completely. I haven't given
the month of spook
the attention it deserves these past 2 years. So, if I'm not able to celebrate the holiday to its fullest, then I might as well resort to an old Halloween classic. Scary stories. Mwahahaha! 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 Hee hee hoo hoo. Yeah. Much like any other piece of media, gaming is home to its fair share of tall tales, legends, and mysteries. Ever since even very early on in gaming history, rumors would spread relating to secret areas, characters, events, what have you. And what better time to bring this kind of stuff up than October 31st? Hello?
It's fucking November!
Throughout all of gaming history, people have been asking the hard-hitting questions pertaining to the biggest mysteries in the medium. Like, who is the mysterious stranger in the Fallout series? Well, he's got a trench coat, so Doc Ock? Doctor Who? Dr. Fraser Winslow Crane? Maybe! Seems like a detective by the looks of things, so my bet's on either Adrian Monk or Jacques Clouseau, but I don't know, I could be wrong. Alright, maybe this was a bad example to start on. But it's questions like this that have been itching in the minds of gamers for ages now, and one aspect of this that kept people at the edges of their seats most of all is the paranormal. The Lavender Town music mystery from the original Pokemon games, the Ben Drowned case from Majora's Mask, fucking ghost blocks, and web series like Petscop taking inspiration from legends and rumors just like these. Hell, there are even stories of a real-life arcade cabinet experiment called Polybius, which was rumored to be so addictive that it would cause severe psychological effects in those who played it. A haunted video game system? Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Regardless of the authenticity of these paranormal game experiences though, it's definitely fun to speculate and talk about them. Which is why today, we're gonna be talking about all of them. So, sit back and prepare yourself to be spooked by some of gaming's greatest... Oh, hey man, happy Halloween! What are you supposed to be?
It's November, and I'm an unhappy government employee. What are you dressed as?
A geek.
I thought you were a loser.
The truth hurts, Kyle.
I'm here because of calls from the neighbors. What have you been up to? Just because we're friends doesn't mean that you're above the law.
Just talking about paranormal gaming mysteries and myths, how come?
We've received multiple complaints about a man at this address terrorizing and harassing passerby.
You mean trick-or-treaters?
Again? November. You haven't been trying to hand out DS games again, have you?
I told you, that was just a one-time thing. I saw someone else did it and things turned out alright enough for them. And hey, what are you so worried about? Nothing bad came out of it.
A toddler thought it was candy and nearly choked to death on a copy of My Smoking Coach.
Better than choking on the smoke of an actual cigarette, am I right or am I right?
You're wrong, but not only wrong. Some would say insane.
So true, bestie.
Look, just cut out whatever you're doing. I already have enough to deal with. I don't have time for this.
First off, I don't own the deed to my yard anymore, so that's technically my neighbor terrorizing the kids, not me. And second off, what's on your mind?
You said you were looking into gaming mysteries, specifically the paranormal stuff. gonna have to go back to my place. There's something you need to see. Oh, and bring PS1 games. Welcome to the break room. Not too many people can see this place up close. Oh, and the IRS esports team just got its first sponsor, so we have to give you this.
Hey, thank you, man. You got a nice pad here. I see you've been trying a lot of other games as well. Didn't know you had a PS2 yet.
Yeah, that and the PS3 is a bit more recent. I needed a way to test out PS1 games in a normal fashion.
What do you mean?
Well, remember after our whole escapade last year where I decided to try and get into games more?
Mm-hmm.
Well, earlier this month I bought a PS1, and it's been acting up.
Acting up?
Here. It's not enough to describe it. You're gonna have to see for yourself. Here, toss me a game. Here, check this out. Yeah, I expected as much. I'll take it from here.
Throughout the years, there had been many myths and legends surrounding the gaming space. Haunted games, experimental arcade machines, and systems and games creating disturbing imagery you'd never have expected to see. Those were all just urban legends, though. The Haunted PS1, however, is a different case. It all started when I was looking around online, seeing if there was anyone selling a PS1 for cheap.
How do I get Fallout 3 on this?
The budget around the office has been tight lately, so I had to dig deep to find something we'd be able to buy. That's when I came across a mysterious form teetering on the border of the deep web. Being the responsible government agent I am, I of course clicked on the link not thinking twice about the repercussions. Here I would find a recent conversation between two users. The first, a degenerate teen on the hunt for rare game memorabilia. The other, an avid video game collector who spoke of a mysterious PS1 that had never seen the light of day, and one with a knack for destroying any 3D games it entered. Now this could have all been fluff, BS being spewed to make a sale, but this collector had a reputation as an ex-scalper and seemed to know their stuff. A former criminal, sure, but ever since the pool table in the break room broke, we've been desperate for the entertainment. I wouldn't normally let a fella like this go off the hook so easily, but he seems to have been clean for years. No scalping to be seen or heard of. And so, I struck a deal.
Alright, pal, you got the goods? Oh, I got something better than the goods.
It seemed that this absolutely beautiful son of a bitch had something else for me. Most likely a game to test out on the console. John Madden's Football 1999, mayhaps?
I think I just have neutral goods.
Bold of me to assume this handsome devil would have such a luxury title.
How do I know this even works?
And just like that,
What the f***?
they were gone. I proceeded to drive home, this strange console now stored away in my trunk. I swore I could hear noises coming from the back there, but I assumed it was just my shit-ass car on the verge of exploding again. I arrived back at the office, went into the break room. And plugged the system in. That's when it happened.
When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
Sammy?
Worse, bitch!
Hold on. You get my situation now?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I do.
I honestly think we're gonna need some backup on this.
Way ahead of you. You call DB, I'll get Bert.
Got it. Break.
DB, you there?
Yeah,
Good. We need you over at the office ASAP.
no can do, friend.
What? How come?
I'm in the middle of something heated right now. Been in a staring contest with this dude named Harriet for the past few hours, and they've got some damn good willpower.
How'd you end up doing that?
You can dodge a draft with probable cause. This is probable cause.
DB, did you get drafted?
It's possible.
For what? There's nothing going on.
I don't want to talk about it.
Look, can't you call a timeout?
Already used my 3 for this half. Plus, I'm on a roll and I want to keep it going.
Fine. If you can find the time, me and Brendan will be at the office performing a video game exorcism, and we could use all the help we could get.
I remember my first video game exorcism.
Goodbye, DB.
Yep, good talking to you.
Bert, you're never gonna believe this.
Brendan, we've already been over this. It was a spam call, not George Bush.
First off, that was Clooney, not Bush, and second off, that's not what I'm talking about.
Look, man, local singles in your area don't like it when people scream about being friends with the former president. Trust me, I know from experience.
Yeah, but they seem to like it when I scream about video games and not having a social life.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
Hey, what did you need to ask me about anyways then?
Well, it's a long story, but basically, Kyle bought a Haunted PS1, destroys any 3D game loaded onto it, bought off of some ex-scalper. I know that sounds crazy, but...
Wait. You said PS1, right?
Yeah...
And when was that system released? So it's retro.
Bert's being Bert.
DB got drafted.
Great. Looks like it'll just be us against this thing then.
Yep. Let's get this done then.
Final Fantasy VII, one of the most beloved and revered games not only on the original PlayStation, but ever. A fantastic RPG and one that still holds up great even today. Played on a normal PS1, it's a truly fantastic experience. Played on the Haunted PS1? Well, it's a unique experience, I'll say that much. The game starts off with an opening pre-rendered cutscene, which loads just like normal, but once we get to the actual gameplay of things, something doesn't seem quite right here. Normally here you'd have Cloud, Barrett, and the other members of Avalanche hopping off of the train, taking down some guards, and then having Cloud get into a fight with 2 of the others soon after. Instead of that though, we just have nothing show up here. Scratch that, I think I've had part of Cloud. Come on, newcomer, follow me. Well, I mean, I'll try! Despite all of this going on, we get into the fight like normal. Like normal. Cloud and the enemy guards are nowhere to be seen, and on top of that, the camera is completely screwed. We can still attack and beat the shit out of these Cretans like you normally do, but you never actually get to see the fight. Well, at least outside of the Buster Sword and our damage output occasionally appearing in the right corner, that is. We win the fight, and somehow manage to make it through the door at the end of the hall, and end up in hell. We end up in hell.
I mean, maybe we shouldn't have joined Avalanche. Wedge can barely keep his ass on the ground anyways.
The way these body parts fly around the screen is just unsettling, especially since it relates to player inputs. The more you move Cloud, or rather Cloud's severed arm, around the area, the more these chopped up character models begin to orbit around some off-screen center point. It's really weird. Actually making our way over to Wedge and the gang is a different story though. I can't tell where the hell Cloud actually is. Luckily enough, in Final Fantasy VII, by pressing select on the controller, you can actually make an arrow pop up to show exactly where Cloud is currently at, and thank God for that. Without this, navigating through this hellscape would be impossible. So what do you think we should name Cloud for this playthrough?
I don't know, maybe you should ask the Haunted PS1.
Got it. That's pretty much the gist of what this thing does to FF7 though. Jumbles up these character models to the point where it looks like they've all been thrust into a hurricane. Either that, or they just don't show up at all. Hey Kyle, for the next one can we do one of my favorites? I want to see how this thing reacts to the Gubster.
If you think your disc can take it, then by all means.
Are you questioning the endurance power of Gubble? I'll have you know, this thing can go for pretty long. They don't call him Gubby Go Long for nothing.
What the are you talking about? Just put the disc in.
Yeah, got it. Ah, Gubble, where do I even begin? World-renowned hit classic on the PlayStation with countless sequels and spin-offs to come. One of the best-selling and best-rated games in all of gaming, much less the PS1.
Literally no one knows what Gubble is outside of you.
Shut the f up. Gubble is a game where our titular Gubble is abducted by aliens and forced to remove all of the nails from this planet because of course they are. It's Gubble. I don't ask questions, I just gub. The game loads the opening cutscene like normal, which is as to be expected after FF7 did the same. Loading into the actual game though, it's just Gubble.
Wait, how's this thing not breaking? What did you do to it?
I told you, man, Gubble's got a lot of endurance.
That never happened before. I didn't think this thing was capable of anything but destruction. I don't like this. You should take that thing out before anything bad happens.
What is this garbage? Release me from this at once, you heathens!
Jeez, I haven't seen it done that since I first bought it. Put driver back in, see if it's working. Or destroying, rather.
Good.
Yeah, so driver's f***ed on this console. Driver, you are the wheelman. Same story as before. The game works fine throughout the opening cutscene, but once you get into actual gameplay, the wheelman over here has a stroke at the wheel and crashes his car through a mirror funhouse. I mean, it still sounds like we can technically move our car around here, so why don't we try that out? You wrecked your car!
Hey, man, watch the paint!
I don't know, man. I think that's the least of my problems here. I don't know. I still don't think that crash was entirely my fault. I think I'm gonna have to go into the replay mode here and look back at the footage to make sure. Here, I got us a nice view of this concrete pillar and mud-looking floor to watch this back. Can't prove I was the one who crashed the car if you never see the car crash in the first place. That's always my excuse to the police. Why can't that apply here? Well, I found where a car is supposed to be. Normally in Driver, you'd have to go through this opening tutorial section in the garage in order to get used to the controls, pull off a few different maneuvers, tricks, and avoid hitting the other cars. You get the picture. On the Haunted PS1 though, the lot is completely void of any vehicles, including your own. It's really strange. Like, you can still see the tire marks and exhaust smoke coming from where your car should be, as if it's actually there, but it's just not. I don't know, man. This stuff's starting to get freaky. I think I'm gonna need a palate cleanser after this one.
I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, yeah, maybe we do.
America's favorite pastime, football, where you run the goals and volley the kicks onto the bases. I mean, who doesn't love a good old game of throwing the pigskin around and measuring each other's crotches and egos over a good old game of sport ball? Can you tell I'm not into sports?
You're not in the Madden?
I'm not into Madden, but I'm way into Madden 99.
EA Sports! It's in the game!
Hey, you want big-time football? The hits, the boom, the doink, the whap? It's all here. This is my game.
John Madden!
Your PS1 froze Mr. Madden.
Hey, it's not my fault. Maybe try restarting it.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
What have they done to you? Alright, so we've got ourselves an exciting game here today between the Chargers and the Bears, with it being a home game for the Bears. Because as we all know, Bears live in purgatory.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong.
So Madden 99 has this fun little quirk when being played on the Haunted PS1 that instead of the players running on a field, well, the field runs under the players. That is, of course, unless you're like our lineman here running off into the void without a care in the world. I wish I knew what a lineman was. That's pretty much all that happens with this one, though. Our game of sport ball can play out just like normal, it's just that our players might be jostled around a bit by the stadium's terrain constantly shifting beneath them. But hey, while we're on the topic of sports, why don't we shift our attention on over to Cyber Tiger? The Haunted PS1 thinks that's a good idea, don't you, buddy?
I'm going to throw you all into the pits of hell.
We're gonna die. I haven't really kept up with world-renowned sport gallbladder in quite some time, ever, but I guess at some point Tiger Woods pulled a cyberpunk and got cybernetic implants, at least according to this game.
Wait, Tiger Woods was the $1 Million Man?
You know, judging by the fact he's currently floating above the course, he's probably something like that. Surprisingly enough here, the course actually loads in like normal. All of the objects even still have collision for where they should actually be at. It's just that Tiger Woods himself isn't actually anywhere near ground level. In fact, I don't think it was our good pal Woody here that's been shifted above the course, but rather the course shifted down below him. The more we golf, the more skewed our perspective of the course from up here becomes, which makes it all the more baffling by the fact we were actually able to make the ball into the hole. Moving on to the next course though, it's more of the same fresh hell we had to deal with on the first one, just that this time there's a lot more sand to deal with now.
Yeah, I don't think it liked that one. Didn't like it? What, do you think it liked any of the shit that we threw at it?
Okay, well enlighten me. How do you think we should make it stop?
Do you think this thing can play Zoo Cube? Alright, then Emperor's New Groove it is. Never failed me during hard times.
Did the PS1 just blue screen on us?
Oh that didn't do anything. How about Spider-Man?
Going based on this menu alone, I'm gonna take a wild shot in the dark here and say that this game isn't gonna be working right either, huh? I mean, the opening cutscene load's fine, which is nice at least.
Welcome, true believers. Welcome, true believers.
Haha, funny pizza time! Haha, funny pizza time! Haha, funny pizza time! It's funny! It's the funny pizza guy! It's funny pizza time! It's funny!
Pizza time.
Fine. Well, if we can't scare it with bug justice, then we're gonna have to scare it with the undead.
You know the drill by now. Opening pre-rendered cutscene loads like normal, but after that, everything goes to shit. Normally here, you'd have our protagonist, Jill Valentine, come barreling through this doorway after the explosion with some zombies chasing after her, but instead, all we have going on are these screwballs vibrating in the right corner. Going over the next scene, we just have every enemy loaded in, currently all piled on top of each other on this side of the screen. You'd think it'd be pretty easy to move through the level now, considering that there aren't any enemies in our way anymore, but keep in mind that neither is Jill. Much like the zombies, she's become one with the pile. Enemies can still attack us even though we can't see where they should actually be, and the only way of consistently navigating through the city is by constantly checking our position on the map. Unfortunately, this game uses tank controls, which makes doing so extremely difficult, so f that idea, I guess. We died. Day saved. Whoopee.
Come on, man, aren't there any other games that you tested on your own that you think could help?
Well, there is one.
Metal Gear Solid Tactical Espionage Action. Yeah. Let's see how much action the Haunted PS1 feels like giving us this time. The game normally opens up with a shot of a submarine traveling through the ocean, then switching over to a scene inside of it. Instead of that though, we get a shot of what I can only assume is an extremely close-up view of the submarine's stationary 3D model, with a camera panning across it. Heading inside the actual submarine, the crew is nowhere to be seen. Any shots of the submarine from this point on are either from a completely strange angle compared to the normal game, or outright doesn't show up. The latter applies to the close-up shots of Snake and his scuba gear as well. Nothing shows up at all, just occasionally some red lines on the screen. The next few scenes show up normal enough, just that it's missing the 3D model of the capsule that Snake was sent off in. Still no close-up shots of Snake's face here as well. The capsule model does eventually show up again, though instead of descending downwards, it just kind of stays in place towards the top of the screen. Throughout the rest of the opening scene are various awkward underwater shots with Snake being missing from all of them, even the one where he's supposed to be exiting the capsule. That's just kind of a running theme with this game on the Haunted PS1. The majority of the levels load in fine, it's mainly the character models that end up breaking. For instance, this opening scene here should have Snake traveling under the water, with some guards patrolling the platform in the background. That's not the case here though. Oddly enough, something new shows up instead. A random glowing orange orb floating on top of the water. Funny thing about that orb here is that it's actually supposed to be what's attached to the guards' guns. So what the hell's it doing out here is beyond me. It seems that Liquid Snake in the elevator he uses during this opening scene is completely gone too. At long last though, we finally get control of Snake and get to play through the level. Or at the very least look at it from over here. We aren't able to move Snake in the slightest, so he's just stuck pulling a Jesus over here floating on top of the water. To make it worse, looking behind us we have this lovely bunch of gentlemen here. All of the guards' character models are shoved into this one spot along the game camera we're looking out of. They try to continue their walk cycles as if nothing is happening. You can even see they're walking around on the mini-map, but their models are stuck in place just like us. Events still trigger, like us getting a call on the codec or an enemy coming down on the elevator, but aside from that, we can't do much other than look around from where we are now. No other Haunted PS1 game took away control from us quite like this one, which makes it all the creepier. I suppose the Haunted PS1's only gotten better at destroying these games as time's gone on.
It's only gotten angrier!
I don't know what you're expecting me to do here, man. I'm not exactly a paranormal expert.
Well, come on, you're a government agent. Don't you have, like, Zach Bacon's phone number written down in a book or something?
Who the is Jack Bacon?
Okay, I've got one more thing that we can try, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work. Digimon Rumble Arena. Without a case. The only part of the arena I'm actually able to see is just this tiny bit in the bottom right corner, but I'm still winning, so that's something at least. Oh no.
You bitches! What's wrong with you two?
What's wrong with us? You're a f***ing ghost!
I was just minding my business until you two cretins shoved those horrid 3D games into me. And worst of all, Gubble!
Hey, what do you have against Gubble?
No, more importantly, what do you have against these 3D games?
I am the ghost of Todd Schmucks. I used to be a game collector and extraordinaire like you don't. At least until the transition happened.
The transition?
Yes, the transition! When games went from charming 2D pixel art and sprites to those horrid 3D models. Ever since then, I made it my mission to destroy those ugly things. And worst of all, those traitorous 2D games that took advantage of the 3D hardware. Makes me sick.
Wait, you've been going ballistic for the past 20 minutes.
20 years!
Yeah, 20 years. Because you hate these 3D games?
Precisely! And as it seems as you two actually enjoy those things, and that I am free of the wrath of those scalpers, I'll destroy you 3D-loving freaks for good!
Oh, what are you gonna do? Clamp the disc tray on my foot?
Not quite! Sup, bitches?
I'll hold him back! You try and get near the system!
Okay, got it.
You geek! You'll never get anywhere near it, not with my new body! Nothing will stop me from destroying all 3D games! Oh no! What the fuck?
What the hell?
Hey guys, how's it going?
DB!
You made it!
Yeah, and just in time too. Plus I was able to become the staring contest champ as well. Undefeated, baby.
That's great, man, but how were you able to stop them?
Well, I've been here for a little while, and I heard them yelling about how they hated Gubble, so I just grabbed it off the floor and stuck it in. Boom. Went limp instantly.
That must be why it ejected before. It didn't know what to do with a game that didn't rely on 3D. It must be completely vaporized after that.
Nah, actually, I think they're still alive, just very angry that they're back to being stuck in that thing.
You bitch!
Thank you both for helping me. I don't know what I was gonna do about the break room being haunted.
Yeah, of course, anytime, man.
No problem. Now someone please get me away from this crazed console.
Now, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that I never want another non-employee in this break room ever again. So get the hell out while I figure out how to clean this up.
So, crazy night, eh?
Stop talking before I smash you with a hammer.
Good riddance.
Well, while he's taking care of things back there, I guess I might as well finish things up here. While we may have never gone to discuss paranormal gaming mysteries like initially planned, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. What better way to learn about tall tales and paranormal legends in gaming than to have your head nearly cut off by a copy of Gubble flying towards you at Mach 20? The Haunted PS1, as angry as it is just like any of those other urban legends or creepypastas in the fact that it represents this spooky but interesting side of the gaming space. And who knows, just like this possessed video game system, the next big paranormal gaming mystery could be right around the corner, not far from where you are now.